Welcome back once more to Kvesti Sidecuts. This time, we join 3 party members headed down into the depths towards the 50th floor, Last Light, the last currently known safe area within the dungeon. Delving deep into the depths comes with many dangers, treasures, and joys. Many areas of safe rest on the way down, many challenges and tribulations to the average adventurer. But to our party of 3 incredibly overpowered powerhouses rolling through the depths of the dungeon like they are rolling in the deep, they will have a jolly, easy, wonderful time headed down into the depths where there will be no real material danger, as most of the major bosses have been floored as of recent for their various materials and their cores. Join us now as we have the wonderful resident Giga Chad, Shogi, our beloved, currently crippled wizard in a wheelchair, who may or may not explode at random if certain magical conditions are fulfilled when they attempt to cast anything more potent than a cantrip, and our resident big fox Ame, prior to some of the previous events that have been outlined and detailed. With Kane off doing gods know what, probably upstairs at Warvite, currently making a shitload of money, we join our heroes now at the safety of the Phoenix Crest Manor, a wonderful place for them, where they currently reside and rest as a group, currently gathering themselves in preparation for what is to come. God and God, are we ready?
Yes,
or do you still need another moment?
You can. This is what I'm going to. Don't worry about it. We can get to the next phase. That's me. I'm looking at. Nope. And we're good. I have to.
Alrighty. Haru, you're currently being wheeled out by Shogi. It's a very nice morning here in glorious Abkhazio. The weather is fair and temperate. The air feels crisp and cool. The sound of the bustling city in the distance rings out. And the pathway of dirt even feels rather...
Not for Ame. I'm trying to do that.
Not inaccurate.
I didn't have the music playing at this time. So. Don't worry, it went perfect.
It went perfectly. We no scuff here.
No scuff.
No scuff. So, Ame, as you join on this nice leisurely stroll, Shogi, what are you thinking right now?
Well, since you guys are new to this area, I might as well show you the main bread and butter of why we're adventuring, to go down into the dungeon and see what is below.
Well, that sounds like a plan.
What part of I might quite literally explode if I cast a spell do people not seem to understand?
You'll be fine.
I mean, I'm sure big man Shogi over here can protect us.
I mean, you know, it's just a light warm-up of maybe 50 floors. Nothing will go wrong. There's no bosses down there, so we don't really worry about much.
I mean, doesn't stretching.
Or if
I haven't
not,
had
maybe
cardio in a long time.
me and Ame could probably take care of them by ourselves. You could just do range support.
The only safe magic I can cast is cantrips. I have no idea what's going to happen if I try to cast anything else I've ever used.
Yeah. I'm sure you'll figure it out, darling.
Light work.
I'm gonna leave you behind if it all starts going to hell.
How you gonna do that in your wheelchair?
I can outrun all of you, even in a wheelchair.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's true. If not, well, just make sure you're safe as your first priority.
That is true. I do gotta contemplate, is the dungeon wheelchair accessible?
I guess so. I mean, there's a bunch of like holes as far as we got in, so you could just kind of just drop down into the dungeon on top of Haru's wheelchair. That'll absorb the impact just fine, right?
I'm not going to have a fun time.
With Shogi and Ame, probably not.
So then, will you be heading off towards War Vitae to take the plunge?
Hell yeah, partner. I get to see what this whole dungeon thing's all about and realize that, man, this is not as strong as Ultima, but this is also still scary.
Yeah, I still don't get the fact that your monsters aren't, like, anywhere else. It's kind of weird.
It's not really my choice, but I mean, you've dealt with all the other monsters, Haru, that were out there, so and also you and Ame, you know how dangerous, Ultima is, so.
From above, you see Zhu flying down with Amelia chasing after.
No, back in stable. You're not going with them today. You're not going with them.
Intense
1 second.
flashback.
If the bird lands on me, I don't care. I'm casting fireball.
She casts speak with animals on herself as she's just like, hello! She says, waving at him.
With.
Lands on Shogi's shoulder.
No, friend, you can't come with us this time.
With.
Oh, poor little Zhu, it's fine, buddy. I'll just be gone for a couple hours. You'll be fine with Mama Amelia.
Looks annoyed, hops over to Amelia's shoulder.
I'll bring you a little treat on my way back, okay there, buddy?
It coos at the idea of being fed.
Okay, take care of them, love, and then kind of like gives them a big old hug.
Amelia hugs you. Shogi, are you using one set of arms or two?
Two.
Your wings seem to manifest behind you, Shogi, as you enwrap Zhu as well as Amelia in a very tight, snuggly hug. And your bony hands also reach around to give a nice, tight, holding hug at Amelia's waist.
I squeeze her butt cheeks and then make a honk. And
She
then,
just looks up with a squint and a smirk.
And then releases her. Shouldn't be gone for too long. Just I'm going as far as I can down there. It's kind of need to do like a strength check for how far we can just get with 3 overpowered people. Okay, in the background. And then just see where we'll need to start preparing, I guess. We'd probably just stop at the 50th floor and not go any further.
Alright, just be careful. It's still the dungeon. You never know what could happen.
He nods.
And don't make any decisions that I wouldn't.
He nods again.
She reaches up on her tippy toes and gives you a kiss on the cheek.
And with newfound motivation, Shogi is ready to go.
Righty. As you begin to head off as a group, it's not long before you hit your stride in the city, and you arrive at Warvite, bypassing the usual front desk. The adventurers that you are. It won't take you long to get past the first few layers and blow through Harnock's Rest, maybe at most an hour if you really haul. Not to mention, nothing up here would be a remote threat to you. So are you ready to begin your plunge down into the depths of the dungeon?
Heck yeah.
What was that, Phil?
Heck yeah, partner.
I flip off Karanos as we pass by.
He's too busy with paperwork. He doesn't even
matter.
notice.
It's not. He doesn't have to notice. It's just about the message being sent.
As you move yourselves down toward the plunge, entering past the massive fortified doors, it's not very wheelchair accessible. However, fuck it, we ball is a valid strategy, and Haru, you can use your immense speed to corkscrew down, if you so like. Going along the dungeon wall.
Okay, hold on, guys. You're too slow.
Just fucking zooms down. Fucking rockets blasting with the primordial energy and just fucking zoom across the wall downwards.
You pile past the first few floors, and since none of the bosses in your way are active, you simply zoom through Harnock's Rest, seeing the massive tree, crystalline sky, and the miles of terrain pass in moments as Haru is just going. Nothing seems to stop you as you get to the fortress and zoom through the open cavern as you enter into the crystalline forest. I welcome you to the third layer of the dungeon, my dear party. As you enter into the crystalline forest, it is absolutely massive. The dungeon's cavernous walls that you're used to from above are replaced by a forest of what appears to be almost glass-like crystal. The leaves like needles, the trunks like pyres of obsidian and volcanic glass. The foliage sharp enough to rip a man to absolute just shreds. And yet there is a great deal of beauty to it. Ame, you in particular, as you gaze upon this work of art, less so than a piece of nature, you feel this pulsating energy rushing out of all of these pieces of foliage, the fauna here and flora being markedly different to what you're used to, even on Altima.
Trash.
You're almost certain that no such equivalent place exists anywhere else on some level. And you also feel as though the branches here might make for a good conduit for your own magics, as though it's deeply in tune with the world around it, and yet not quite natural.
Interesting. Well, unique environment around here, although we're just trying to get past it right now.
Do you continue forward, or is there anything you would like to investigate in this area?
What monsters would be normally around on this subsector of the floor?
Roll me. Roll me an Arcana, Nature, Survival, or History check of choice.
I will help.
Arcana. And I'll do the first one.
Alrighty, with a 22. It's not the most well-known of all things, but most adventurers don't keep their mouths shut very often. You could expect that there are things like Children of the Briar, Crimson Drakes, Giant Toads, Harpies, Leshies, Moss Lurkers, Thornies, and Vegapygmies in small little groups. Tree-like looking abominations known as woodwards. As well, there are also ankegs, awakened trees of this crystalline material. Bitu, which are, one moment, let me double check what those are, so I can give you an apt descriptor. Betu are roughly humanoid-looking, almost baboon-looking creatures that are incredibly aggressive. It's like a half mix of a boar and a very aggressive primate. They are not very dangerous alone. However, they travel in groups and are smart enough to actually utilize poisons. As well, there are Krene, which are fey creatures of water, almost akin to a water sprite in some ways, though they are far more dangerous, as they are almost like sirens in a way, where they will try to pull you towards a water source to bring you to death. There are Darklings and Darkling Elders, which are almost goblinoid creatures that hide in the shadows, and they're very sneaky and nasty. As well, you can expect swarms of poisonous dungeon serpents, tendril puppets, which are... Sorry, there's a lot of monsters.
I would assume so.
Basically, it's a plant that grows into a adventurer's corpse or something else's corpse and takes over it.
Oh. That's
Very
scary.
nasty.
Yeah.
There are also tree skinners, will-o-wisp. There's what are known as brood guards that basically are serpent-like abominations that stalk these woods. The tree skinners in particular are kind of like dryads in a way, but far more nasty.
Yeah.
Little less good connotations. There's also amphitheres, which are bestial creatures. They can fly. They're kind of like a mix of a bat, a rat, and a lizard. They're particularly nasty as they have a fairly deadly stinger for adventurers that would usually be coming in here the first time. There are boreal grapplers who hide up in the tops of the trees and come flying down. Blood sappers, which will literally impale. Basically, imagine an anteater, but instead of the long snout, it has a giant needle, and it can shoot it at a pretty decent distance. There are crocadas, which are monstrous creatures that almost look like a mix of a lion, a wolverine, and a wolf, as well as a bit of tiger mixed in there. Very nasty critters. You do not want to find them. They have the capacity to paralyze things, and they have a habit of pouncing out from seemingly nowhere after freezing a target in place. And most annoyingly, out of everything. If you get separated from your party, they will mimic the voices of your party if they have heard them. They're not perfect imitations, but they're close enough to trick an unseasoned adventurer pretty easily. Displacer beasts run rampant throughout the floor. One very dangerous thing is fragrant ones that are capable of charming people to serve them. Not necessarily deadly on its own, but certainly not kind. There are goat men who run about on this floor in large packs, militars, which are like gigantic millipede-like centaur creatures that often come ripping in, wielding axes. They're very toxic. There are Sidar. Sidar, where are you? Another humanoid creature, very, very lizard man-like, but wrong. They're usually incredibly pale. They can wield basic weaponry. It's kind of almost like if a troglodyte from one of the earlier floors had gotten a bit more brain power to it.
Gotcha.
And they can also spit flames.
Just a lot of everything I see.
Yeah, there's a lot down here. Probably the most notable things, however, are death butterfly swarms, which can put adventurers to sleep. Spellhounds, which are very well known for targeting your squishy spellcasters. And then at the very peak of what tends to lie on the floor are things like the giant frilled lizard, which is known to blind its enemies before trying to just rip into them with a very knife-like mouth. Lindworms, which can give very horrible diseases as they are immune to most diseases themselves, but act as very, very good carriers for everything onto adventurers that they bite or scratch. Shambling mounds, which can literally seemingly appear out of nowhere. Trolls, which roam fairly inconsistently throughout the area. Wood roads, which are something you don't want to walk into because if they catch you off guard, they can just turn you into a statue next to them. You might run into a few on this floor. And as well, there are these large lizard-like creatures with huge sails that seem to just stalk the woods, especially near water sources. They have long, very thin, narrow snouts for catching any would-be adventurer not paying close enough attention.
So Ame, what do you think about all this biomes and everything else?
A lot of shit trying to kill you.
Yeah, that everything that can kill you is pretty much here.
Yeah, I suppose it's condensing everything bad on the plane into one place, so to speak. Yeah.
In different layers and kind of having like a estuary of all these different creatures and different biomes where they can naturally survive in.
Yeah. Reminds me of this place on Altima. It's like a giant pit where the gods come down occasionally to beat the shit out of each other. And there's all sorts of weird abominations that hop out of that pit. Except people don't go exploring that pit. They only go in there to kill things in there.
Yeah. Taru?
I mean, it's not the weirdest things. You act as if I am supposed to be surprised by all this.
Well, yeah, you make a point, but this is technically the realm of Elustria, so, you know.
Yeah, I don't think they're quite good. Another reason why I don't want to cast magic is I don't want them to see me here.
Who?
Oh yeah, you joined us after this whole ordeal. Elustria, she's like an adopted little sister who we fought to bind into the lowest floor of the dungeon here. It's a it's a whole different thing.
You probably
Ame
shouldn't
just
be
looks
saying that name.
Ame just looks super fucking confused. As she's just like...
Former hero.
Wait, hero? Like,
Yes.
like
Former.
one of Tyr's boys or something?
No, like chosen by the universe, Umglorialus itself.
Hey, Jersey, I have a question.
Shoot.
Would someone from someone from Altima even know about the trifecta, considering there's never been one on this plane?
Nope. You wouldn't
Okay.
even know that the hero exists beyond the star that recently cropped up in the sky and then disappeared. But you aren't sure exactly what the hell that is, because, you know.
I'm also not an astrologian. I probably don't care much
Exactly,
about
yeah.
that.
You just saw a big bright star appear and you were like, ah, that's neat, and then it was gone. And as you continue to penetrate deeper into this forest, you arrive past the initial, like, heavily crystalline area, and you arrive at someplace that actually looks a lot more plant-like. Even a little familiar to you, Ame.
Ah, this
Though
place
it's
is pleasant.
very sharp, pointy,
Yeah,
prickly.
it's like one of the druids' groves, but it's a lot sharper. But I don't know what this hero thing you're talking about is. The only heroes I know are the people that worship Tyr. Oh well, more the people that Tyr chooses. I don't know about this whole hero thing.
What was that?
I don't know about this whole hero thing. The only heroes I'm aware of are basically the ones Tyr chooses.
Ooh, she's out of the loop there, Haru. Do you want me to talk about heroes,
It's
or
fine.
you're a little bit more qualified, I think.
We're both qualified, but you can do it. I'm just gonna start wheelchairing herself off the plate.
So yeah, the hero thing, it's a bit touchy story for both me and Haru. So as you know, I am a person who gets reborn again every era or so.
The demiurge.
Yes, a demiurge. So last era, before I was technically born, or it's a weird subject. Anyways, last time I was alive, I was a hero's companion, and I adopted the hero because I'm the one who first found her. You know, we fought to seal the dungeon, or what we call the dungeon, in the first time. But before I was successful in seeing the dungeon sealed, I was killed by her. Who knows why? Who fucking knows? When we fought her, just right before you got here, we didn't really know what was her power source. But when the dungeon seal broke, she got released and pretty much had control of almost every monster, and kind of just allowed them to attack everywhere. We had to fight to seal her, because if we try to kill her, we would not survive at all. So whatever dark being of the dungeon influenced her, or whatever god is down there, it's very strong. And apparently there's these fragments of the sword of the hero, which is Haru is looking for, because Haru's love, let's say that, was this generation's hero. And
May I interrupt you real quick?
yeah, go ahead.
What is the hero though? You didn't answer that question.
Yeah, but the hero is the chosen by Umglorialus itself. So it's Umglorialus's warrior. And there is so there's like this trifecta of lore that we got told is that there is a direct opposition to the hero, which is called the mad. The mad is like a being of the void that has all the knowledge of all pretty much all things forbidden, and it's a whole thing. It's like so much knowledge, you're driven to madness.
No, actually, I recognize that name. It's briefly mentioned in the Hoshi no Tama regarding the role of Inari Hoshi.
Yes. And now I don't know if the third opposition to the mad, because it's like as Haru said, it was a trifecta.
It's like a love triangle.
Yeah, it's a big weird ordeal. I don't know much about the third one, but that kind of is like the direct opposition to the mad, and then the hero is the direct opposition to the third guy. So it's a whole ordeal thing. I might have my angles confused, but it's something like that.
Interesting. So, do you know what the hero lack? So what is their purpose?
The
heroes is.
I mean, hero is, I guess, supposed to just beat the mad and do stuff. That's way before beyond me.
Interesting. She's just squinting her eyes. It's just like, so is like the hero a good guy, the mad a bad guy? Kind of sounds like the names hint at each of those roles.
Well, not so sure if the hero's a good guy. I mean, they're just like a soldier of Umglorialus, and whatever Umglorialus wants, it kind of just does. So, for the better or for the worse of itself, it has its own directive. But what we do solidly know is the void is directly associated to the mad. So,
Like the tapestry?
yes, the tapestry.
I mean, there's things in it. I won't exactly call it a void.
Sorry, I know too much void knowledge.
She shrugs.
I'm sorry,
not
you know too much?
I know at beginner's level. I apologize, and kind of put his hands up.
I don't know. One time I joined a cult and they turned out to be a bunch of tapestry worshippers, and it was a whole ordeal. Unpleasant. Not great druids, those tapestry folk.
As you continue navigating through this forest, had you been lightly armored, or more lightly at least than you currently are, you can see yourself having been just slashed to ribbons passing through all this foliage. Importantly, you notice that as you continue forward, especially you, Ame, it is the oddest thing. It is so deathly silent in these woods. You've traversed several miles worth of floor, and yet, despite the monsters you've encountered here and there, the waterfalls and everything else, it's so unnaturally quiet when there's nothing around.
Well,
It's almost as though it's frozen in time. preserved forever in its current state. You can see things regrowing, likely back into the same place they were, but it's like everything here is perfectly preserved.
You know, weirdly enough, this kind of reminds me of when those cities try to make like nature preserves, where everything it has to be like the ideal picture-perfect environment without human interaction, and it's constantly trying to achieve that.
Togi would nod. Yeah, it's a little weird how everything has been a little frozen. We haven't really seen a monster or had to deal with a monster yet.
Is the duration of this dungeon usually so quiet?
No, not really. Maybe because we're just so strong, it just spooks monsters away.
Yeah, I suppose, but it is pretty out here. Let me try something real quick. As she's gonna go over to a plant, and I'm going to activate speak with plants.
Alrighty, give it a shot.
Duh. I don't know why this is the thing. You know what I'm doing. Wait, yeah. There we go.
As you kneel down onto the almost needle-like grass, breaking several pieces of it as you kneel, you hear small whispers, the faintest of sounds. The trees nearby seem to creak and groan in ways now intelligible. The flowers with petals like razor blade glass, delicate and beautiful all the same, seem to almost be looking toward you, Ame. What do you say?
How you doing?
Almost an eruption, like a crowd speaking back to you in whisper.
We're doing fine. Who are you? We've never seen you before.
Name's Ame, partner. I was just curious what you all are up to.
We're just here, doing what we always do. Growing, showing, cutting, piercing. What are you doing?
I'm walking with some friends down to the necropolis.
What's the necropolis?
It's beneath y'all. It's another floor of this great old dungeon that you all reside in.
Dungeon? What dungeon?
The
Well,
yeah, but the forest is within the dungeon that we are currently residing in. Though I suppose you might call it something
Yes.
different.
this is home. Forest.
Suppose that is a fair thing to say. You two have any questions to the plants?
No, I don't want to alert her. Me being here.
Yeah,
Fair
no,
enough.
I don't want to die again. I'm fine.
Well, thank you all for talking with me. I was just gonna say hi. Hope you do well today.
We'll do fine, but will you?
Yeah, I will. As I end the spell. As I
The
continue
plants
walking
return
with them.
to silence.
That is weird. I've never had plants talk to me like that.
In like what matter? Do they just are like normal human?
They have. They only are aware of the forest and its existence. They aren't really aware of the greater picture. It reminds me of lawn grass. In a weird way.
Yeah, they're everything in the dungeon's a little special. Let's just put that.
Yeah. Also, they're very loud once you start listening to them.
You travel for what feels like a good few hours, scaling your way, trying to find on this last floor, what should be the last floor, Shogi, if you've counted right, the way further down, and you're pretty sure, based on a hill you climbed not too long ago that gave you semi-decent line of sight, that just up here should be the entrance down to the putrid swamps. Is there anything you'd like to do or look for on this floor and in this section of the dungeon before you head down further?
Would this be technically the boss arena?
The Crystal Forest does not have a boss arena separating it and the swamp. However, there is the Crystalline Hydra that you have already fought on a few occasions. Particularly the one that turned into Liurnian Hydra that almost ended the world.
That's true.
However, you don't know where its lair lies.
That's true.
By your count, Shogi, you are currently on the 21st floor.
We're about halfway there. Give or take. Anyone has anything to explore or before we move on? We still have quite a bit left.
We're still too far high up to be anywhere near where I need to even start looking.
Yeah. I don't know, I want to see the stats before I decide on anything in particular. I need to see what's down here.
Alright, let's travel on.
As you move forward, you find your way further down, and the solemn stillness of the forest is replaced by the smell of salt, muck, a little bit of vomit, and a slight fog as well as you arrive down into the putrid swamps.
Ah, now this place smells like home.
Oh god, did A-Pop fart here?
I hate this.
You know, reminds me of my home country.
In which country is that?
It was a country ruled by vampires that periodically killed everybody in villages and constantly replenished the population by treating the people like cattle. And this reminds me a lot of the areas in between, which were forests covered by perpetual darkness.
I'm more of asking a name so I can make sure never to visit there.
The Darkvenia Confederacy.
Yeah, I know, but wouldn't may remember that. Let's see here, intelligence check. Okay, yeah, she says it. The Darkvenia Confederacy.
Yeah, we're never going there. She says to no one in particular.
Oh, it sucks. I mean, listen, it sucks so much that I joined a Luciel cult and I killed like a good chunk of the population there to try and kill the ruling class.
I mean, how many cults have you been a part of?
Some of them were not advertised, you know. I've been a druid for over 300 years, you know. You join a lot of cults trying to go from druid coven to druid coven, and then it's just like, oh yeah, we're actually a cult trying to end the world. You have no idea how often that is of druid covens.
Why haven't you just made your own?
That's a lot of work. And plus, I'm not actually that strong by Altaminian standards.
As you are moving about in the beginnings of the putrid swamp, the muck, grime, and disgustingness, as well as the small insects floating around, making traversing rather annoying, occasionally having to blast off a entire swarm of sturges and the like. Quick question, can Haru and Ame make me perception checks?
Sure thing, partner.
Both of you take notice of these small, almost dragonfly-like creatures with 6 wings. They're about 6 to 8 inches on average in length, and they have these really long, almost like suture needle-like tail stingers on them. They seem to be watching you all patiently, as though they're waiting for something. There's not many of them at a given time, but there's enough of them that it's a little discouraging.
Alrighty, so do you the environment here kind of sucks. You want me to get you guys out of here as quick as possible?
That would be preferable.
Alrighty. Ame goes Big Fox, and is going to activate her her boon of the Fox Spirit, which gives her immunity to all forms of difficult terrain.
As you both get atop Ame, you begin rapidly clearing the area. Heading over to the next scene.
Yep.
Ame, you begin bounding through the swamp like it is nothing, ripping across it. You actually pass over, Shogi, what you would recognize instinctually, almost as though you've had long run-ins with these creatures. A Valuex, a massive, just disgusting-looking creature of many eyes that many people actually use the eggs of, because it dehydrates you when you're in a radius around it, to kill adventurers, because it's a parasitic monstrosity. Known for killing a lot of people down here. Very, very, very nasty, those things they are. Tries to bite Ame on Ame's way over.
Alrighty. Chomp.
Alrighty. As you chomp down, let me check the thing.
And I don't imagine I get the advantage bonus.
No, you do not, sadly. Ame, can you give me a Constitution saving throw, please?
Alrighty, in this form I have advantage on these.
Yep.
16.
Ready. Noted.
Romp, romp, romp.
As you bite back at it, a little bit of water gets into your mouth. Probably nothing wrong. Probably.
Oh, Ame, damn it! Those
Why?
things contain parasites.
Oh,
Actually,
my
they
bad.
are the parasites.
My bad. Schmonk.
We'll check you out. When we have
Ame proceeds to cast Lesser Restoration on herself.
You didn't think anything got hit, Ame, but you can't exactly tell. Shogi, the eggs of Valuexes are literally so small they can't be seen with the naked eye. And they turn into something that could eat an alligator. But,
Alrighty.
as you continue onward, you head on to the next area, rapidly clearing floors like they are nothing. You actually happen across a small little hideaway that appears to have been built by somebody. It's like a little hobbit hut.
Well, I mean, this would be like the perfect home for you.
Is that a joke because I'm really big?
No, it's because you're a druid.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fair, I suppose. Although, given my life experience, my most consistent home is in the middle of the forest, where I sleep on the ground.
Hmm.
Anyway, do you
Well-
want to look into the house, or do you want to just keep moving?
Well, I'll see who's home.
Okay. Ame sits down and lets them get off.
You may move yourself down. As you head over to the structure, it appears that it is empty but kept lit by ever-burning torches. There's not any food or anything, though there is enough to, if you wanted to, probably take a nice rest in here. Just take a load off and maybe not have to be as worried about getting assailed in the midst of the night.
It's a Safeway house. No one's home, but he knocks on it anyways.
Silence.
Coming in, and then opens the door, tries to.
As you open the door, opens without any resistance, though you do notice for a brief moment that it feels like something whished past your hair, Shogi. As you glance off to the side, you see in the near distance now a sprite light-like small little burst appear before disappearing off into the woods. Appears to have been a will-o-wisp.
Oh, looks like the house is clear. It was a little will-o-wisp, but if you wanted
Alrighty.
to take a break, since we've been traveling for hours.
Yeah, I could go for a nap. Thank you. I could go for a rest of Mundo.
I'll take first watch.
And I'll take second.
Guess I'll take third. Though we don't have enough people for a full watch order.
Oh, I do have half rest, so I only need 4 hours.
Ah, alrighty.
So
that
we
case,
just need our ATV fully charged. Still give
Alrighty.
them the thumbs up.
Alrighty.
As you rest, it is a relatively peaceful seeming night. I need... what is watch order?
Haru first.
Shogi second.
I may last.
Alright, so 1 perception check from Haru, 2 from Shogi, and 1 from Ame. Haru, as you rest yourself staring out the window, watching for any potential threats, you actually see a small flock of these very brilliantly red birds. They're absolutely gorgeous. They have these long black beaks, these piercing, almost silvery eyes, and these beautiful, just gorgeous scarlet feathers interspersed with the occasional black feather that seems to be patterned almost individually to each of them. They seem to just kind of float around outside for a little bit before leaving. They're absolutely gorgeous. However, you do notice that there's a bit of magic that pours off of them. Magic that almost looks kind of like a curse in a way. But your watch comes to an end peacefully. Shogi, as you sit awake, looking out the door's window as well as the side window, just kind of keeping your ears and eyes open, for a few moments you see what appears to be a shambling corpse with long nails and claws growing out of it, just kind of walking about outside on its own. And as that thing is wandering just ever so slightly closer, and you prepare prepare Namine, just on the off chance, you see just this huge crab claw erupt from the ground in a shallow pool of water and drag that thing down. And all is
Jesus.
silent.
Jesus. Mother has created so many different monsters. It's really a stronger eat strong type of world.
During the second half of your watch, you see what appears to be like, at first, in the distance, it looks like a very beautiful, almost ethereal woman dancing about. And then you see the parade of will-o-wisp following. They seem to drift over the water and through the mist, in and out. Almost as though they're playing and dancing, but also looking, watching for something. As though at the first sign of life, they'll descend rapidly upon it and make sure to make whatever happens to catch their attention to suffer. But they seem to leave you alone. And as you lay down for the rest of your rest, Ame, as you're sitting there just kind of enjoying the ambiance, letting your ears do a great deal of work, you glance out and you see what appears at first to be just a pile of foliage and vines resting in the midst of a puddle, or what appears from your perspective to be a puddle. And then slowly but surely, you watch as that little pile of foliage begins to rise, as you see a plant-like drake, almost entirely formed outwardly of vines, pull itself up out of the earth, and then begin slowly prowling off towards a small little bit of sound in the near distance. Perhaps an adventurer, perhaps a monster, who knows?
I love nature.
But your watch comes to an end without incident. All of you may take a long rest.
DM.
What up?
What happens when I dream this time?
Roll me a d100. Hello. Hello. Haru. This time when you dream, you are pulled, sitting back at the edge of the looking glass on the dark side of the moon. You stand there alone, though, this time. Hoshi and Alter seemingly absent. And you watch the twinkling in the distance of worlds. You watch and watch and watch. And you watch one go dark. And then another. And another. And in their place, nothing but in the near distance beyond them, more twinkles begin to form. It's a dark night, Haru. A dark night indeed. As you seem to sit there watching, reminiscing, remembering all that has happened up to this point. to think that a simple day, a simple day, all that time ago, where you had chosen your path that moved forward, where you as a child had gone exploring, and then there was that nice young lad who you didn't even really know at the time. How your father, so long missing, would eventually come home. And how now you stand at the very edge of reality, as it seems, staring out through the thinnest of layers of glass. As your eyes open and you return back to this small, dingy, safe spot in this endless dungeon. It's oddly peaceful, and yet there's some part of you that feels a certain way at this moment. Like there's something deeper that's just under the surface that you're missing at the moment. Right here and now. As you all awaken, it is safe. Doesn't appear to be any monsters outside, and you may continue on as you so see fit. You're almost to the end of the putrid swamp. You only have a few more layers to go before you reach your intended goal.
Back on the Ame carriage, y'all.
Yeehaw! Get along, little Ame!
Ah, you know just my language, sweetheart.
I'm starting to think I'm the least insane one now.
I'm just
What do
trying
you
to get
mean,
into the
darling? I
mood.
ain't insane.
Come on.
As you continue forth, you eventually find your way to an empty boss arena, where you see the recent remnants of a brutal battle. You see a bloated corpse that is still disintegrating into the ground. You see blood splattered across the sharp trees, spines, and you see, well, what appears to have been at one point an adventurer's body, but whatever lives in that water has eaten almost every last bit of it. But just ahead of you now lies the cavernous entrance down to the 32nd floor.
Ah, poor bastard, poor bastard.
Yeah, the one thing we don't experience on this trip is all the adventurer deaths, because there tends to be a lot.
Yeah, I suppose that might be the case. Yeah.
I
Nasty.
mean, I remember the problems I was having. We weren't even in the dungeon then.
Ugh. Oh, at least the people that come down here come here willingly at the very minimum.
Do you venture forth down to Tunnel Town?
Yay, Tunnel Town!
As you enter into Tunnel Town from the exit of the putrid swamp, the rocky tunnels of glistening and speckled rocks intersect, all leading to this central massive cavern that has been formed and shaped into a wide variety of structures. A large freshwater basin runs below every area of this entire town, easily accessible with buckets that have been chained to the sides of any stone structure that passes near them. The water's fresh, potable, and easily drank. Many of the structures seem to have been propped up with wood harvested from the very putrid swamp above, still having a slight greenish hue, and the smell of bog ever so lightly clinging to it. There are many lanterns and torches ever burning that have been hung from steel wires or placed along the sides of these pathways and buildings that during the day put off an orange light to try and simulate the sun, and a pale blue light at night that is directed upwards almost exclusively to allow the sparkling stone above to mimic the stars of the very night sky.
I don't know why, but I have a sudden need to go to a store here. I feel like there's something destined for me to get here.
Nearby the entryway, you see a crudely drawn kobold head with a gift shop labeled on it.
As Ame is going to go inside and get the legendary shirt, which I've been waiting 2 years to acquire in this campaign.
As you enter in, there's a sly kobold man with scales of muddy red sat behind his desk with his merch shop clearly visible in his eyes, and he says,
Hello, welcome to the gift shop of Tunnel Town. My name is Canner the Kobold. I have all kinds of wares from pins and shirts all the way down to hats. A preserved young Valoex in a jar?
he pulls one up from below, and you just see the ugliest fucking thing you have seen since you last interacted with one, preserved in a disgusting looking yellow fluid.
Ooh, I also have some of the shiny sparkly rocks from the ceiling. Freshly harvested, by the way. I have some flail snail shell. I have this nice trophy here that says Floor 32 Conqueror with the plaque that comes with it. Would you like one?
I feel like I'm looking for a different shirt for some reason.
A shirt you say? Well, let's see. I went down to level 32 and all I got was this shirt slash pin. That one? That will run you 10 gold pieces, please.
10 gold pieces?
Do you know how many adventurers come down here stripped of all their clothing by the things above you, especially the acid dragons?
Fine. Give me the shirt. As she says, getting some gold pieces she fucking got off of Kane at some point in their adventures.
Do you have a shirt that's something like I made it to floor 32 and all I got was a shirt and the endless forbidden cosmic knowledge?
Yeah, we have that right here.
He holds it up. It's got the stones from the ceiling speckled across it, and it's in black.
I hand 10 gold pieces over immediately.
Thank you very much for your purchase.
Those rhinestones fit you perfectly, Haru.
Yeah. Do you have a version of the shirt in Supreme Fox size?
I have them in extra large for big adventures.
He pulls up a shirt that just bringing it over the counter is sufficient to completely overshadow himself.
Okay, but it's not big enough for Big Fox Ame.
Not big enough for Big Fox Ame, but you might be able to get a custom order.
Yeah. Well, I'll talk to you another time. I need to steal more money off of Kane before I can buy something like that. I'm
Who's
not gonna
Kane?
be.
I've
He's a
never
good
met him
friend of
before.
mine.
Ah,
A good
cool.
friend of mine.
Would you like this shirt here? It is a wonderful one.
It reads, Patron of Canner's store on the 32nd floor, and it has a smiling kobold with arms outstretched holding the message on like a scroll between them. And the kobold is smiling.
No, I'm good, sweetheart. Thank you. I'm just fine with this shirt.
What about this one?
He holds up a shirt that says, Dragons? We've been dragging these cores out all week.
Alrighty, let's get the hell out of here.
I remember there was supposed to be something on the 33rd floor that Kitiko told me. Some mysterious treasure for her. Can we find that, or is that the shop?
The item was on the 33rd floor, so you'd have to go deeper
That's
down
one more.
into. You would have to go deeper down into the scorching pathway.
Yeah.
Well, we should probably get taken off back and get started going down more.
Oh, if you're looking for a rest, I could personally recommend the Rocket. The Iron Rock Inn, it's run by Ame Kizu, Wood Elf, very
What?
wonderful lady.
Ah, well, she has the same name as me. Weird. Well, I'll have the same
Ame
last
Inn?
name.
If you're in need of any arms or armor or repairs, I can personally vouch for the 32nd floor arms and armor shop. Karth is amazing. He does great work. If you're hungry, Kathy over at the Monster Meat Tavern makes really good food. Little odd taste, bit of an acquired thing, but you know. And then we have the Supply Depot run by Hilda. Nice tabaxi lady. She's wonderful. If you need anything non-magical, she'll probably have it on hand. And she keeps healing potions in stock too. Thank you for your patronage here at Connor's wonderful store.
Thank you, dearie. We should probably just get going. I don't think we need much of anything, honestly. We're just gonna keep going down.
Yeah, we are very fortunate of the Blaga monsters, but you know.
Yeah.
I expect some big raid group probably just went before us.
Yeah, although, that's probably why there was the one dead adventurer, but I would have thought the raid group would bring their dead adventurers with them.
Well, that's not our situation to figure out.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. Or maybe one of
Right.
our folks went on up then, I don't know. Alright, time to get going.
Alrighty. As you continue downward, passing through Tunnel Town, heading deeper into the dungeon, it becomes very, very palpably hot. The heat is really starting to crank up as you go further and further, and as you arrive past the initial entryway into the scorching path, you can pretty clearly tell why, as there is a asinine amount of lava and magma just pouring everywhere. Just even looking out over the side of one of these rocky ledges, you are hit by such a powerful updraft that almost knocks you back onto your rear on these huge, sprawling land bridges. The caverns off to the side seeming to be the only way down that's remotely safe, but you could try jumping down. Not heavily recommended.
Alrighty, so I'm gonna be honest, I can navigate this much easier in my big fox form, but I'm not gonna be wearing that much fur down the hill here.
That's fine. We can just walk, run,
Wheel.
Yeah.
wheel. You know.
Ame says taking off her coat and putting it in a bag. Ugh, fuck. I hate the heat.
No, this isn't that bad.
Oh, this is dreadful. I hate it here.
I feel
As you
like the
say that,
wastes were
you
worse.
see as you say it's not that bad, Haru, make a perception check really quick. You see a pack of manticores in the distance just flying casually between the land bridges.
It's not the worst I have gone through.
You know, I'm suddenly regretting only packing alcohol instead of water.
Yeah, that's
On the
that's your
bright side,
first
it's not a
mistake.
dragon.
But I mean,
As you say that, I need a collective perception check from all of you.
Oh no.
if I took
Alright.
any water, I wouldn't have room for my 30 flasks.
Perception.
Shogi. Yep. Fire. Fucking everywhere. Everything's on fire. It's hot. This sucks. This is the worst.
This is why Shogi is a himbo.
Ame, man, that's a lot of flying things in the distance. I wonder what happens if you jump off the side of the bridge with like a fly spell or something. They'll probably spot you instantly and immediately close. Haru, as you think to yourself, well, at least it's not a dragon, you stare off into the distance and like a laser, your eyes lock onto what appears to be some kind of draconic form. Let me give you a more apt description. You see... Gotta double check. Are these the adults? Or the... Okay, they're still the youngs. You see a dragon that is very odd in appearance. It's incredibly slim. Its wings are almost tucked back into a V when it's not actively flapping. It has these long dorsal, almost ear fins to its sides. And it is incredibly aerodynamic looking, with a very long, precise rudder-like tail. And when this thing starts hauling, it is fast. It's easily clearing what most dragons of its size would, and it's very adept at flying in the air, seemingly riding up and down on these updrafts like it's second nature. And you actually see as it happens across something, and you see a visible blast of air that pressurizes so instantaneously that it turns the air in front of it white, hit onto the bridge, and you see something roughly humanoid in shape falling off the side.
Hey, Shogi?
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to say things anymore.
Let me guess, it's a dragon now.
Haru just starts wheeling herself.
Alrighty. If that's the case, if there's something dangerous down here, do you all want to get back on my back? I'll suffer the heat stroke for you all, I suppose.
I can teleport.
Okay. Oh, time to get moving.
As you continue forward, all of the bridges thus far have been made as though they were just formed out of rock and lava naturally shaping, but this is a little out of place.
I wonder if this is a man-made structure.
I would assume so. Not much.
Roll an
to it.
investigation if anybody wants to find out.
Might as well.
How did I roll higher than Haru?
Because I rolled a 4.
It does not appear that this is man-made. It's certainly been shaped by something, but you're not quite sure.
Ame looking. Huh, weird. I wonder if there's like intelligent monsters down here or some shit.
Show you.
Formed by
Would
the
you like-
dungeon itself.
Could be.
You're saying?
Shogi, in response to being prompted for intelligent monsters down here, you could try to make a Arcana, History, Nature, or Survival check if you wanted.
Arcana, no.
I asked Hoshi. What do we know about intelligent monsters in the dungeon?
Intelligent monsters in the dungeon are strategic. They're smart. They will fight intelligently, as an intelligent creature would. However, they're not intelligent in the traditional sense of knowing a great deal of things, usually, unless they've had a lot of contact with adventurers and survived those contacts. In which case, they do seem to have a very rapid adaptive intelligence that grows more and more dangerous as time goes on. It would be entirely impossible for some to build structures, especially as Hoshi notes that there are fire giants that roam this area. Fire giants do carry massive swords made of metal. Though the dungeon seems to spawn them with it, they could make something like this if they really tried.
Nope, that should explain that.
Interesting. Just, if I recall, fire giants aren't exactly like... Ironically, they aren't exactly that fire resistant, if I recall my lore correctly. But they,
But you can definitely smell some iron.
yeah. They are they're the crafting class of the giant hierarchy. So it makes sense that they'd make something like this.
As you continue down toward the end of the scorching path, you arrive over one final bridge, below which you can see that there are several, what appears to be almost octopus, made of lava, that are reaching their tendrils up towards the edge of the bridge as you're crossing over it.
And anybody have like a large stick?
I cast Primordia on any that get close to me.
Alrighty. You singe off with the primal magics each of these tendrils that get a little too close for comfort, Haru. And as you walk through here, the temperature begins to come back down towards normalcy before hitting you like a absolute Mack truck in the face with frigid fucking cold.
This is more my line of thinking.
And I just imagine like everyone's just like steaming off while transitioning into the cold weather.
Ame goes
Very
back to Big
convenient
Fox.
at first. As you go into your big fox form, Ame, the sweet cold. Okay, maybe it is a little colder than I initially expected. Okay, maybe it's a lot colder than I initially expected. This place is as cold as the Arctic tundra.
Yeah.
Absolutely frigid. All of the water on your breath freezes the instant it leaves past your lips. You feel, to those of you who are not heavily clothed enough, you feel the cold biting immediately at your ears, your extremities, your nose, your lips. It is frigid, and it is sucking the heat out of you.
I have a alcohol if anybody needs to warm up.
Can I hit someone with something?
Sorry, what did you say?
Can I hit someone with something? I can cast Fire Shield on myself. I'm
Don't hit me,
joking. I'm
dear.
joking.
Okay. Well, anyway, ready to get on the Ame Express? Choo choo. I've heard that expression before, but I don't know where it's come from.
I would like snuggle into Ame's fur.
Ame's fur is warm and soft. The outside is cold and harsh. As you continue to walk along the boundless mountain pathway down what appears to be something almost equivocal in size to like Mount Everest almost. The craggy pathways are treacherous and deadly, with ice flows, avalanches occurring seemingly at random. Thankfully, Ame, being the way Ame is, actually gives you great benefit to evading most of this. You arrive through valleys of just this harsh, craggy, and sheer terrain. Continue further into the snowy embankments that never seem to stop. The snow seems to ever pile onward, leaving not so much as a track left over. You travel down the mountain for what feels like almost a full 24 hours before you finally reach what appears to be the bottom. And in the distance, you can actually even see that there's some trees, lakes that have been frozen over, and what very clearly appears to be the very bottom of this area, with a giant frosted dome of rock and blue ice in the far distance.
It's fucking chilly in here, mate.
Shogi,
Yes.
does this weather remind you at all about that frost behemoth?
just a little.
Raw behemoth?
I remember that day so clearly when you fell out of nowhere, and we definitely had to fight that lovely turtle.
Yeah, I don't want to fight that again.
You know, honestly, I think we would have a better chance because we you know, there's less things to bounce around in, and there's less targets.
You continue forward.
Heck yeah.
As you continue on in this frozen waste, you finally find a bit of life in it. A seeming dawn break past the mountain behind. Pathways opening up, and the trees now a little more alive, oddly, though they do seem to be evergreens. And as you enter past this forest and the lakes into the frozen dome, it's actually deathly silent. There's not even so much as the drop of a pin.
Ame feels very confused, and she's just like, there was really not a lot on this floor.
I mean, except for a huge mountain.
Oh, I mean, yeah, but nothing trying to kill us. Well, whatever.
As you say that,
The
please roll
environment.
me a perception check.
Don't speak it into reality.
All of us are just Ame.
Just Same, just Same.
19.
As you say that, perfect. This is the exact kind of spot they would be. Ame, as you look just outside into the woods, you see a swarm of what appears to be, you know what a pangolin is?
No.
Basically, it's a, chitinously covered scaled mammal. Imagine that, but a squirrel, and it has fangs that are roughly about 5 inches long. It has eyes like that of a crazed, devilish lizard with like ruby dark red sclera and very slightly blue pupils. And it is carrying an adventurer's head like a squirrel would a acorn. And
Well, that's
nibbling on
morbid.
it.
Well, that's morbid.
What?
Anyway.
You
Oh, there's a
spoke
bunch
it
of
into
little
existence.
things. Yeah. Well, anyway, let's get moving.
As you begin heading through, you actually see crawling on the ceiling a frost salamander, just kind of doing its own thing, staring down from above, avoiding you, oddly enough. And you enter into the Springfields. As you arrive down past the cold, you're back into this nice, gentle warmth, like a hot spring hitting you. The place has already been civilized and well set out with several different pathways through. The Springfields, in particular, lie within a massive and temperate cavern with lighting from far above, as with many of the other safe areas thus far, with many small crystals again twinkling in the light and dark. It has long, gorgeous daybreaks and dusk with a plethora of hot springs and geysers dotting the landscape of the cavern floor. Several buildings in the style of Karachi Eye and one in the styling of Gulsera serve as inns down here in these depths and have beautiful walled hot spring baths that are safe to enter and hailed by those who make it down to this depth for their healing abilities, allowing adventurers to stave off and recuperate from the exhaustion required to get down to this deep floor. The heat, the cold, all of it just melts away in the springs. Though the stays are fairly expensive, they're usually not too bad when considering the inns Also accept materials from monsters from the floors surrounding, as well as coinage, too, if you can't supplement with sufficient monster materials.
Well, I don't think we need anything on this floor. Are you all getting tired at all?
I wonder if this would help with my recovery.
Well, if you would like, there are 3 distinct inns on this floor. There's the Enkai Inn, the Frostmoor Inn, and the Pride's Lane Inn. Each of them has their own representative of sorts.
Shogi, give me like an hour. I want to see if these hot springs will help with my my magic problem.
Is there mixed bathing or single separate?
All options are available and on the table.
Yeah, we can take a break. I'm still feeling pretty chilly from being in Ames for all day and all night and multiple days. I don't have the luxury of fur on me at all times. I just have wings and bones.
Yeah, it sounds like a skill issue.
That keeps her nice and cozy. Yeah, we
You know, it's still
can
pretty
go to
cold.
a spa. That's fine.
Sounds like a plan. As Ame goes back to normal, and she's like, ah, yes, spa day time.
Look, it's okay. It's okay, Shogi. I don't hold Kane's superiority complex over other races. Like, okay, I understand. Just pat.
Yeah, he's really weird with that shit. I can't lie. It's very weird, and also inaccurate to the information you've told me. Well, the Hoshin Otama told me.
He nods.
So, which of the 3 inns would you like to go to? I can repeat
Haru,
their names if you so like.
it's your choice, Haru. You're the one who wanted to go in the first place.
Please repeat the names.
The Enkai Inn, the Frostmoor Inn, and the Pride's Lane Inn.
Let's go with the Pride's Lane.
Alrighty. You head over to the 3 inns, each having large advertisements held aloft overhead on big wooden signage. The Pride's Lane Inn in particular, externally doesn't look like too much. It's actually rather kind of towny, but it's very expansive. And as you arrive to it, you actually see that there's a koi pond in front of it.
Fish.
At the front door, there is a mounted steel trident that has been hammered in seemingly several different times over the course of the years, with small little holes from prior nail ripping outs being present on the outside of the door. And as you open the door, there is a single Triton man just kind of leaned back in the chair, who opens his eyes and glances over. Welcome, one and all. Name's Sir Burrington. Welcome to the Pride's Lane Inn. You looking to stay the night, stay for a while in the springs, or you looking for a longer-term arrangement?
Wait, did you get knighted?
It's what everybody calls me. It's been a while. You know, I used to do some work outside of Abkhazia. Didn't get anything formal, but just kind of stuck. You could also call me the Devil's Trident if you want.
Alrighty.
Oh, you want to rest here for the night before we try to move any further then?
Yeah,
It's
we
been
can
a
rest
hot
for the
minute.
night, enjoy the hot
Yeah.
springs a little bit more.
It'll be nice for the spa. After all, I haven't had a bath in like a month.
Shogi kind of coughs at
Huh?
how much Ame smells.
Hey, listen, you weren't complaining when you were riding me earlier.
Well,
You don't sweat as bad in the cold.
If you want to stay for just one night, that will run you. He pulls out his ledger. There's 3 of you. I'll cut you a deal since it's your first time here, and I don't think you've been down this far before. At least not to my knowledge. Fuck it. I'll say 80 gold for the 3 of you.
Shogi will hand the Triton man 80 gold.
Thank you, dear.
Oh. Wow, I was kind of expecting you to ask if you could pay in materials. Alright, cool. Just know, any of us 3 down here have an arrangement. We will happily accept any materials in place of coin if you're low on coin or you lose something. And we have spare weapons in case you need to earn your keep somehow. They're not the best, but they work.
He nods. Thank you for your patronage.
Yes, thank you, dear.
He hands you a set of room keys, 1 for each of you. 3rd room down the hall on the left. Hot springs are open. There's a mixed bath, a women's bath, and a men's bath. Do what you will. And he kicks back.
Hot springs time.
Oh, is there any alcohol? we can
Booze is
order?
hard to come by, but we all keep a good amount in stock. What are you looking for?
Kind of looks at the group. Do you have any sake?
I don't keep it on myself, but I can run out to Enkai Inn and ask my boy Sora for some. I'll give him bottled brandy in exchange.
He knows.
Oh wait, y'all have that here too? It's a
That's
show.
right. Okay.
What's... I'm sorry, sake? What is sake?
Oh, it's
they don't-
rice wine.
Okay. They don't have that where you're from?
I mean,
I drink
he is
booze.
from a weird area, so I mean, can't really blame her.
I mean, funnily enough, I have actually heard sake before, but it's usually in the context of people being like, oh yeah, you're a kitsune, you want sake, obviously.
I'm sorry.
I mean, weird question, you know?
I mean, they're not
Um,
usually wrong.
Sake is also kind of a part of my heritage, being from Karachi Eye. So it's also kind of our first time drinking together. So it's yeah. Let's get a bottle of
Respect.
sake.
Even better.
Respect thing.
Haru will roll herself up to where the Triton man is and put 100 gold on the counter. Just so you don't have to trade away your brandy, if that helps cover.
I mean, hey, I'm not gonna say no to good coin. I'll make sure to get you whatever you need. Hell, if you want, I can make you a nice seafood, dinner, lunch, whatever time it is outside. He
That
glances
would
at the window.
be lovely.
Wonderful. I'm one of the best cooks on this floor, I can tell you that much, and I make damn fine seafood.
Can you make fish and chips?
Oh, I can do anything with fish. I got everything I need on this floor. I have a garden
Alright.
out back just next to the springs. I use some of that water to make them grow, and I will tell you, whatever's in this water, like, I know kind of what's in it, but we don't know exactly what's in it, makes things just grow real quick.
Nice, very nice. Reminds me of Druid's Groves of some sort.
You know, you're not the first person to say that to me. I'm not really magically inclined myself, but yeah.
I've never cast a spell in my life.
I always have, so
I'm 50-50.
Well,
I was sarcastic, I'm a druid.
I'm gonna go get y'all that sake. You heading into the mixed bath, or...
Shogi just says nothing.
We'll figure it out.
Alrighty, I'll knock if you're not in mixed bath. He gets up and heads out with a bottle of brandy in hand. As you all, what do you do?
Shuggy would just go into his room, just unclothe, and go straight to the mixed bath.
Basically, same from Ame.
And from Maru.
The rooms aren't much to like balk at. They're nice, they're decent, they're enjoyable, they're honestly a little homey and comfy. He's got about, at a quick glance, probably somewhere around 100 of them surrounding the various springs with large walls up between them. As you enter into the mixed bath, it is fucking huge. It is so big that you could do laps in this thing with ease, and you would never get... You could, like, circle around for hours going from the outer rim of it to the center. There's many rocks in it, there's large plant growth of, like, what appears to be bonsai trees, but much larger, that have been carefully trimmed and clipped. There are flowers along the edges of it. It's just a very nice atmospheric place, and there's a very thin layer of mist over the top.
It's no tower, but it's very aesthetically pleasing.
I look at the water. I do an Arcana check.
Go for it.
I'm rolling
Alright.
low today.
As you look at this water, you can't get an exact fix on what it is about this that is, like, so mystical. But it definitely has some kind of, like, healing effects. Just at a glance. It's really hard to, like, nail down anything of note, but there's something more to this place.
Well, I tried. It just flops into the water.
Ame just slowly sinking into the water.
Feels just like Karachi Eye again.
As you spend the night, you are given a massive platter of seafood on a floaty that just kind of passively bobs around, almost seemingly tracking between each of you, one by one, going around and making sure the food is evenly spread. Another platter of the same kind with glasses and sake is placed down, as well as a bit of brandy too. You drink, you eat heartily, and you sleep the night away. Please take another long rest for each of you.
Another night. Another chance to see if Oracle pops.
Alrighty. D100, please.
Fuck.
Haru. You are once more sitting on the far side of the moon, in the darkness. This time as you look out, however, you can't see past the glass. You stare at it with this creeping feeling beginning to well up from within you. And you have visions of war on a cosmic scale beginning to break out. You feel yourself almost choking in your sleep as you wake up in the middle of the night, breathing heavily, disheveled, sweating cold. Your veins feel like ice. As you sit in the room, the small bits of light from outside and the other rooms around you pour in to give you a view of your space. And as you blink, you see a pair of dark wings for a moment as your eyes close. Almost reminiscent of something that you've seen before, maybe even frequently. do you continue on the next day?
Hell yeah.
Oh. What?
Adventure.
Nothing happens in Boston City.
There
As
are
you-
no terrifying dreams.
As you're about to leave for the day, looking over to you, Sir Burrington looks and says, "Oh, by the way, are you all headed down to the falls?
Or,
Just so you know, the problem child, Amphi the Baron, is got killed by a raid group going down. They were heading for the necropolis.
yeah,
I think they
that's
should be
where
in
we're
last
heading.
light right about now."
Oh, good. We don't have to deal with that thing again.
He looks at you, trying to figure out who you are, if you've killed Amphi the Baron, and he doesn't recognize you. Huh. I don't remember you coming through. You stay at one of the other inns?
Yeah. Let's go with that.
Hey, I'm not questioning too hard. I'm just curious, because I know basically everybody who's killed that damn thing.
I'm excited to go to that necropolis you all are talking about. It's gonna see all the necrotic and stuff. I don't know.
As you head out with all of your things packed away and readied, you enter into the Falls of Fate. As you glance down off of the rocky ledge that leads down into the archways that travel through the oceanic depths that seem to constantly refill themselves toward the top. Would anybody like to roll me anything to try and figure out something about this floor?
I'll roll a nature check if you allow it. Actually, first I'm gonna do something funny.
Mhm.
I'm gonna cast Foresight on myself.
Alrighty. With that, I will let you roll straight, because I was going to say disadvantage, given you're not from here, but go for it.
Okay. Fair enough. I don't know.
Advantage or no, straight.
Ame, you know nothing really about the oceans or the waters of this place. However, in the near distance, going down the side of the waterfall, you do see what appears to be... Let me get you a descriptor for this, because I don't remember off the top of my head what these look like. You see what appears to be a very long, slender sea serpent. And for reference, I will post this into Kvesti General. Shogi, you would recognize this creature to be an Ikuchi.
Oh no.
They are big and nasty snakes. They swim very quickly and are excruciatingly aggressive. But they are not the most dangerous thing on this floor by any means. You head down, following along the underwater archways that seem to form out of these long pieces of stone, the falls raining down just a few inches off the side of these platforms and making them just absolutely drenched. One moment, I'll import it. The falls are loud, almost to a deafening degree. Especially as you're, for all intents and purposes, completely submerged at the moment. And as you are just walking these long paths, you see massive leviathans in the distance, just swimming about like there's not a care to be had in the world. And for reference, the Ikuchi from earlier, for everybody on the stream. Very beautiful creature. You continue forward, mostly unabated. A few monsters do occasionally come toward you, but they're easy enough for you to collectively murk. Because they are weak and you are strong and they can get screwed. Eventually, you arrive at the end of the falls, walking down the long stairwell to last light.
This
You
place feels ominous.
You see in the distance small little speckles of light, perhaps the raid group denoted earlier. But as you step down onto the ground, Shogi, something calls out to you. Somewhere off to the far side in last light. Do you follow it?
Not immediately. I would just kind of like let the party know.
Alrighty. What do you do now that you've gotten to last light?
Well, guys, we only have one floor left, so that's pretty much our destination. Do you want to take a small break, or if there's some mysterious thing calling for me for some reason? I mean,
Well, I don't know if you want to investigate that with us or if you want to investigate on your own some, but he shrugs.
I mean, there's a lot of beings of darkness that akin to a last light and even necropolis gods even and all that, but you wanna come with me? So I have a buddy.
Yeah. If we
Yeah,
weren't
I'll go
come
with
with you,
you.
I'd at least recommend let us get some rest so that I could help you out with some of my spells. But if we're all going as a group, that would be advisable.
It's fine. I mean, if it's actually something of danger, like a god or some sort, I'll just let Alter loose.
Remember, there are no gods in the dungeon. They do not manifest here directly. They can hear your prayers, but they do not appear to assist you.
There's no gods, but there's a lot of gods, champions, and creatures of gods, which it's even more fun, I'll say.
Yeah, in that case, I'll just stick Alter on them and be done with it.
You okay
Here's
with that,
hoping.
Ame?
Oh yeah, I'm fine if coming with you, unless I misunderstood what you were saying.
Oh, I mean, it's since you were so tired for carrying us on your back the entire way, and you know, if you wanted to rest, I wouldn't blame you.
I'm fine going unless you don't want me to go, and I understand if you don't want me to go.
Oh no, you can come. You can come. It's fine.
Okay. Alright.
We'll just go now.
Sounds like a plan. 2 thumbs up.
So, Ame, Shogi, as you begin to head off to go find the source of whatever that is, Haru, you find a building. Kind of looks like it's just take whatever is here. It's not comfy by any means, but it's workable. But as Ame and Shogi, you arrive to the source of what seems to be calling out to you. Shogi, you see a jet black set of threaded robes. And you feel your necklace almost like resonating right over your sternum, almost trying to pull you toward it.
Oh, my necklace is reacting. It's probably another item on the set, as I think to myself. He goes into kind of like investigates the threads closer, and tries to find a trace of where that whole robe set is.
As you reach out and you touch it, two things happen, Shogi. Firstly, they seem to almost grapple onto you and force themselves over you, and secondly, as the darkness overtakes you, hey God and God, you ready on that sound bit?
Yeah, I'm perfectly ready.
Good. Shogi, you are transported. You don't know to where, but as your eyes open, you're standing on a floating rock in an empty void. And by the way, Shell, this is where Izanagi would not be able to see.
Understood.
Shogi, there's no breath, there's no air, there's no space, no time. Everything here is the end of the road.
Fuck, I've been transported again. This is a all too familiar feeling.
You've been close to here before, Shogi. Give me a perception check.
Let's see if I actually roll well for once.
With advantage as well. It's not hard to spot, thankfully, Shogi. As rocketing from the depths of a swirling vortex, what appears at first to you to be just a black dot rapidly grows larger and larger and larger before you. As a mighty dragon comes ripping from the void. It has an unfathomable singularity upon its back. Its wings darken the night skies surrounding and blacken reality itself. As it arrives, its massive head peeking up toward you. Shogi, what would be your first reaction to seeing this thing that, the moment it enters your field of view, makes the Demon Kings look small by comparison?
Unfathomable fear and despair.
As that despair begins to overtake you, the dragon's name seems to sear itself into your mind. Odrjin, the witness of the final hour. Shogi, do you have the wherewithal to even try and make a check in this moment to identify anything about this entity?
I use the Supreme Auto Pass.
Alrighty, with that, as you stare upon this, information begins to just roll into your mind. First, you find that this thing has summoned you here in particular, as it sees something of interest in you. And then, you start to learn things you never wanted to learn. You learn that it is the champion of the thing outside that you should never think of. Its existence coming straight back into your mind. The image just ripping in. The immense power of this entity is sufficient to fight even the gods themselves. All at once even, perhaps, and more. Thankfully for you, Shogi, the final hour is not yet here. But it wants you to assist in bringing that about. As it stares down at you, Shogi, the witness of the final hour glares deep into your being, offering you an accord. Assist it in bringing about the end, and it will let you join its endless forces, its endless armies beyond creation. Will you betray your own world and hide amongst it and burn down all reality? Will you bring the shears that cut and prune away possibility down upon the world which you currently inhabit and all within it? Or will you reject the dragon and face its wrath when it comes about? What will you do, Shogi? Do you accept it or reject it?
I will show him my card.
As you present the card, it begins to resonate. As the dragon's maw, long and with teeth made for rending worlds, curls. You are shrouded in darkness, Shogi. Please look at your character sheet under your features.
Oh. I see. That is
Until you are 20th level, no sign of this will exist on you. You will be as normal. The witness of the final hour now having a worldly champion seems to vanish back into the dark, awaiting the final battle. And that is where we shall end session tonight, y'all. We thank you all for watching, those who've come around, and we hope to see you next week, as we will be having another game next week to follow up and make up for the one game that was skipped as a result of external circumstances.
It happens.
Thank you all very much for joining us tonight. We hope that you will see us next week. Bye-bye!
Bye.
Like and subscribe.